Hello, and welcome back to Saffron Honey Chai. And I'm sure you all can read, so you've seen the title, and you know it's our anniversary. Yeah, we're officially at 1 year of Saffron Honey Chai together. And coincidentally, it is my birthday. Wish me happy birthday in the comments. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. My Cash App, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. My Patreon, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you guys bad. Love you guys bad. And more than that, I've been loving this journey. Ooh, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I actually chose to start the podcast because, like, you guys know like some of it, but you don't know the whole tea. So we're going to like lay out the tea for you so you know, okay, how do we come to this? Because originally, when I came to this place to make the podcast, I was thinking maybe this would be a great place to do my fit checks because the person I'd been speaking with at the time who put me on to this space said to me, "Yeah, you're really the kind of person who's making content. You have a great personality. Like, you could really maximize off of this and get something out of it." And I was like, "I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do. What do you mean? You saying?" Because I am one of those people, and this is not me like tooting my own horn or anything. This is just me like acknowledging reality. I am one of those people, and I'm not tooting my own horn when I say this. I'm very intelligent. I'm multi-talented, highly educated. I have a lot of skills in various fields. And yet, when it comes down to niche down and focus on something, I typically struggle with that. Part of that is ADHD, and that's diagnosable and treatable, and I can work with that. But part of that is just the world is just so wide and vast and interesting. So when I came up here and I was like, "Oh, I'll do fit checks," I was like, that doesn't feel right. And then at the same time, I'd been reading these poetry books from Hong Kong poetry nights, and they were so juicy and impactful because it was like the same little battered book I had for like, at that point, 5 years from when I was in China when I picked it up. And I was thinking, we can do something here. We can do something with this. But some things in your life are more symbolic than literal. And not just because it was a book of poetry and like, symbolism. Okay, shout out to my history professors from the past. Thank you. But sometimes the symbolism is just that it got me in the place to realize what I actually wanted to do. Because while I was sitting there and I was reading the poetry, I was like, oh, there's copyright to consider. Oh, I have to get other people to do it. Because the thing that I really enjoyed about the poetry night books was the fact that the poems are presented in multiple languages. So you can have someone read it in English, you have someone read it in Espanol, you can have someone read it in Chinese. It all depends on the language it's been presented to you in. And that was really interesting to me and cool because, Queens is the borough of the world. I'm doing this podcast in Queens. I could trip and fall into someone who speaks 3 languages just in this borough alone, on this block that I'm on right now, easily. And so I was thinking, okay, well, we could do this. But then as it went on, it was just so many moving parts. It was so much more difficult than I had first assumed for us to be able to do this. And so I said, well, when in doubt, rely on thine own self. Rely on thine own self or thy own self. We don't speak that way anymore. I don't have to be correct. I just have to say it. So I started thinking, okay, what am I interested in? And I ran into another issue there because in life, we know what we do, right? We know what we're good at, right? We know what other people like from us. Yes. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And so I had to endeavor to discover what I didn't know. And what I didn't know was what could I talk at length about? At first, nothing. 5 minutes of this was hell. I was getting through 5 minutes and thinking, what do you mean that's 5 minutes? It felt like a 5 minute plank. You did it for 30 seconds and now you're damn near dead. But it feels like an hour just passed. And it was so hard for me because I'm talking to you guys on this podcast right now and I'm enjoying it. It's fun. But in my real life, I'm great in conversation. I'm great at discourse. That's fine. But I'm not good. I'm not good at just talking without a lot of prep. And so even when I was doing a lot of the prep, sometimes in your educational career, you get really good at being succinct. So I was being extremely succinct. And what could have been 20, 30 minutes with like some anecdotes and stuff was just compact. And that is boring, frankly. That was something boring, unless you really have a great hook. And I'm not into the whole hooks and strategies and here's 10 simple skills that you'll need to do XYZ. Had no interest in that whatsoever. Didn't care. Didn't care to do it. I only care to be authentic. I only care to come up here and do what I want to do and say what I want to say. And I had to cultivate my voice over this year. And I've had crazy ups and downs during this year. You know, I've had health issues. I've had job issues. I've had relationship issues. I've had family issues, illness, like all kinds of things have impacted my life. But at the same time, my one true north has always been optimism and community. And optimism and community are going to take you very far if you know how to utilize them. There is toxic optimism where you're like, well, this is going to be fine because it's going to be fine. But there's positive optimism and this. Ooh, and I'm not glazing my producer right now, but ooh, the most important piece of like optimism I learned, this is temporary. If something bad is happening, this is temporary. You know, you're having a rough season, you're like, this is temporary. And you don't have to say, oh, this will be something that's going to elevate you in the future. Like this terrible moment that you're in, this is just a sign that God is pulling you back so he can push you forward. No, none of that. But this is temporary. It sucks. It's bad. It's uncomfortable. We're going to get through it. This is temporary. One of the best pieces of optimistic advice that I ever received was that it's temporary. Does that also mean that the good stuff is temporary too? Yeah. Everything is temporary. We are temporary. But because it's temporary doesn't mean it's not important. It doesn't mean it's not impactful. And then with that in my mind, I was able to work through a lot of stuff that had happened in the year. I was like, wow, that was tough. And after I heard that, it became easier for my mind to slip into the, I used to pray for times like this mindset. Oh yeah, you know the one from last week? Yeah. Because when I first started this, hot mess, terrible, difficult, job I was not super crazy about, very good at, not crazy about. Felt like my skills weren't being utilized properly. Oh, not crazy about that either. I'm competent and I want to be able to express my competence very deeply. Very deeply. And yet, I had to understand that it's not just about what you want, it's about how you make what you want happen. And so I started putting myself in different rooms. I started, breathing and living in a different way. And this is like, I'm calling it time travel work because the stuff from the past has already happened. It's happened. It's gone. It's done. I don't have to experience it anymore. It won't come up again. The themes will come up again, but I don't have to deal with that nonsense again. Ugh, gross, disgusting. But right here, right now, I have to deal with that. So my issues with it, I have to remediate that. I have to say, that was temporary. I made it through. And here's what's good. And I was doing this slowly and quietly and carefully in my mind. And that was only able to happen because I decided we're going to put forth a habit. And I didn't realize I was putting forth a habit when I started doing this podcast. But having a habit and being consistent is also good because your habits are temporary as well. But they're only as temporary as you allow them to be. I treated this podcast like a goddamn job. I was clocking in on this sometimes 3 times a week just to make sure I had a backlog because there were a lot of times where I would have one episode, I would post up the episode and it'd be great. And another one. And there was a certain point where I hit a wall and I didn't have any more stuff to post. It was done. I was cooked. Yes, I didn't have enough stuff. I was done. I was cooked because the studio was closed. I could not post anything new. Oh, horror of horrors, terror of terrors. What the hell? So, as soon as it opened again, batch, research, got super into the library, got super into understanding the world around me. I understand many things inherently. I breathe in life. I feel the world. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Everything is nice. Everything is connected. We are all in union with the world. Blah, blah, blah. and such esoteric nonsense. But through that process of like, okay, I have to be more intentional. I can't just come on here and talk on camera. I have to plot everything out. I have to plan everything out. Go to library, get my ILL. Go to library, borrow some local. Go to library, go through some magazines. Go to library, go on TikTok, scroll through TikTok. What's interesting? Nothing. Go back to library, talk to librarian. Fashion? Go home, go back to library. Documentary? Oh, okay. Just different steps, different jumping points. And then last summer, Museum of Adventure. Just summer of Museum Adventures. It was great. We had a blast. Me and my girl Rebecca, we was going crazy in the museum. When I tell you, I think if we had a passport, we might have filled that bad boy. We had to have gone to more than 12 museums in one summer. I never would have done that without this podcast because I was like, my life is boring right now. I got to do stuff. And we always think our lives are boring, even if it's full with stuff. But sometimes your life is boring because you've allowed yourself to become bored with it. But because of you guys and myself, mainly myself, I do this for me. I like that you guys like it, but I do it for me. I enjoy the response. It has to be for me. In life, there are a lot of things that we do for others, you know? We'll sacrifice our time, our space, our energy, blah, blah, blah. But what will we do for ourselves? And this is for me. So even if like I make a lot of money off of this one day, hopefully, even if I get a lot of benefits off of this one day, hopefully, ultimately, it's something I endeavor to do because I love myself, I appreciate myself, and I want to prove to myself that I could stick to something. And I did. Now, did I stick to my schedule of posting? No, not all the time. But I stuck to my key facet, which is that I wanted to be intentional about recording. I wanted to be intentional about getting good information and ideas for content. And I wanted to be intentional about the things that I was engaging with in order to create content. So historically, I would just sit there and I would watch anime. I would watch anime all day or, cartoons or a TV show. I would just binge watch on Netflix. And I would binge and binge and binge because there was nothing else for me to do. I was bored with my life, so I was binging. And then I binged the show, don't remember anything about it. I fell out of fandom, so it's like, so I'm not in a fandom, so I'm not online in community with people. So it's like, if a tree falls in the forest, what really happened? If a fan watches a property and doesn't do anything about it, did they even watch it? And I'm a long-time fanfiction writer, long-time fan art enjoyer, long-time fanfiction commenter, fanfiction commenter. Wow, this was amazing. I really love the way you describe Zuko's lustrous locks. You really understand the eccentricities of the Fire Nation geopolitics. I love how you have really broken down the Zutara concept to its bare, finest essentials and somehow found a way to make it even more delicious and enjoyable. Thank you so much for your quality writing. Eh, you know, but I fallen out of love with fandom because of various reasons. Oh, I should probably do an episode on that because there is a woman online who was raising so much hell in the Teen Wolf fandom a few years ago that my stomach still turns to this day when I think about her handle. You will rue the day you got the internet and started harassing black teenagers on the internet. I know who you are. But I didn't have that much joy or passion for things anymore, so I had to cultivate joy and passion. And just changing the mindset fixes a lot. The first step to solving the problem is understanding the problem. You understand the problem, you understand all the steps necessary to make the problem work. You know how to fix it, because if you know the problem, you can fix it. If you don't know the problem, you can't fix it. So, if your knee's hurting, and you're like, damn, my knee's hurting. What do I do here? You won't know how to fix it unless you actually do something. You have to go out, try some things. Okay, does it hurt when I walk? Does it hurt when I sit? Does it hurt less if I elevate it? Does it hurt more when I elevate it? What's going on here? We must pursue investigation in our lives. And this podcast is partially like a content creation adventure, endeavor, whatever. But it's also my opportunity to explore the world around me in history. The personal curriculum series that I did I post all of them? No, they're all edited and saved. I got shy. I was like, I'm nerding out a bit too much. I don't know if you guys are going to like that. And yet, here we are. I still did it. I still made it. I will post it. I promise. I swear. I swear. But I did it for me. I did it for me so I can show myself that I know how to use my resources still. That was a big fear of mine. I'm a lifelong rather academic. Anytime I'm not in school is difficult for me. So I had to give myself the feeling of school. So I had to find sources. I had to write the paper. I had to take the notes. I had to organize my thoughts. I had to, investigate various forms of literature in order to make something that I could feel proud of. And even if it's just for me, even if it's just something I enjoy, that's plenty for me. That's more than enough. And I'll be satisfied with that for the foreseeable future. Now, as for the rest, every journey in your life, and this is like a cliche, of course, but it begins with whatever first step you're willing to make. Starting this was a first step to a lot of things that I didn't even know were possible, And when you start something, you think you know where it will go. When I started this, I thought the world is going to love me. I'm going to have 10,000 followers in 6 months. And now I'm still getting hype when I get one extra follower. It's like, oh, yes, another member who has joined the heavenly order of my brain. Like, yes, join me. Come here, come here. But I met people. I've learned things from people. Not everyone comments, but people do hit me up in the DMs to say, you don't know how much you're helping me with these. You don't know how you're changing my life right now. And I don't. I did it for me. I did it to change my life. But all lives that touch each other change other lives. We are forever transformed by the connections we make, even if it's parasocial, even if it's just on the online space. There's never a just. There's just what we are. So, because I have proven to myself that I could do this for a year, and I've given this podcast to myself as a birthday gift every year, I made sure this bad boy was a Taurus. I'm telling you, I started everything April. Boom. I know that you have everything it takes to, at the very least, engage in a journey of self-discovery. Not everyone is project-based like me. I like learning stuff. I like figuring out how to make the RSS feed work, how to make a little money off of something here and there, how to, use my resources in my local community, to a greater extent. I like that stuff. And because I like that stuff, I wanted to come on here and share this with all of you. I wanted to talk and, be a little vulnerable at times and be a lot excited and curious about the world around me because I was seeing the box get smaller in real time. I was seeing and feeling the box around me get smaller in real time. My curiosity was dying through TikTok scrolling. Like the curiosity was dying on Instagram Reels. I would go from one app to another and it would just die. Now, at the very least, I read. I can write again. I can enjoy the internet. I can enjoy the world around me. I can enjoy it all. I'm happy. I'm happy because I did something for myself. And I'm happy because I know that since you are here and you have been here for a year, you know how to do things for yourself too. You know how to make yourself happy as well. So I'm trusting you to endeavor more deeply. And I think it's beautiful that you watch. I think it's beautiful that you like. I like that you've liked, commented, and subscribed. But I want you to do for yourself what I've done for myself and build a space that makes it easier for you to fall in love with life again. Because you only have one life. There are no do-overs. There's nothing else. There's just this life and how you live it as well as possible. This is not a theological thing. You just have to face the reality directly in front of you. Everything else is potentially a beautiful extra. Heaven is a beautiful extra. Hell could be a beautiful extra if you're freaky. Anything is extra to the experience that we're having right now. And you must go forth and have a good experience. So with that, go forth and experience. Thank you again for being with me for this year. And I look forward to what next year is going to bring us. Till next time.